Let's jump straight right into Group G now. And the reason why I jump here is because Group G is arguably a very special group in this World Cup. The group of death, as some might call it, and we'll come to that later in the show. But we have Germany, Portugal, Ghana, and the United States of America. Vishal, talk me through this Portugal side captained by Cristiano Ronaldo.
Well, Portugal are a team that always tend to underachieve or start off underachieving and then they build up as the tournament goes on. They've got Ronaldo, they've got Joao Moutinho, they've got Nani, they've got a few good players in there, and I think they'll finish second. They'll finish second to Germany because Germany are just too cohesive as a unit.
Right, talking about Germany, Ronak, they've had a fantastic rise in terms of their domestic league. When you talk about the Bundesliga, Borussia Dortmund, Bayern Munich and the likes. Talk me through Joachim Löw's side this summer. What is it that's going to help him perhaps at least reach the finals when it comes to...
I'm a big fan of the way Joachim Löw manages his players. I think Germany are no less than Italy or France when it comes to the kind of egos that they need to manage. It's amazing that we've never seen German players involved in the kind of off-field incidents that we've seen other teams. It's credit to a team and a manager who manages these talents pretty well. There's a great respect for Joachim Löw. I think it comes from the entire setup that somebody like a Franz Beckenbauer puts down in Germany. No matter who plays for them, they somehow just put everything aside. They give it their best at a major tournament. They'll be too strong for this group. They'll oust Portugal by the odd goal, I think. Ghana will give Portugal a tough run for it. I think Portugal should just about be good enough, but I don't rule out Ghana finishing second in this group.
Speaking about Ghana and what happened last time at the World Cup when they had heartbreakers USA, I think, that took them out of the World Cup. They found themselves in the same group now, Karan. How vengeful or how revengeful is this fixture going to be when Ghana face USA?
Apart from that, I think obviously you will be. You want to go back to, you know, get your odd victory over your foes. But Ghana have their own problems to deal with. They've just about scraped through with, you know, having their key players with your Kevin Prince Boateng and Michael Essien coming back into the squad very controversially. So I think Ghana have to concentrate amongst their own right now and not really concentrate on the USA because that is not a game that's going to get them through. They really need to get their squad prepared for probably getting an odd point against Portugal if they want to go through over here.
Absolutely. And we'll move now to my favorite group. And why favorite? Because it's got the team that I support. I'm not going to tell you who, but I think it's fairly obvious. Group H. We have Belgium, Algeria, Russia, and South Korea. Vishal, let's not talk about Belgium. Let's not talk about Algeria. Let's talk about Russia and Korea. Russia, well, they do good enough for themselves. They've never really won a World Cup in the last couple of World Cups that have happened. But talk me through the Russian side. How strong are they going into this World Cup, given that it's going to be really hot in Brazil?
Well, this is going to be an interesting bit between Russia and Korea. I think there are a lot of Asian players who currently are playing in the Premier League and other top leagues, so that would help Korea. Russia obviously have a bunch of great players. However, again, the weather as well as a bunch of aging stars. You have I think Arshavin, who's probably their best player at the moment, and he's not at his best.
Yeah, and he's retired.
But it would still be interesting to see, to look up the Russian league and watch a couple of their top teams and figure out how they're doing. But I really don't rate them. I'd take Korea over them.
And just for the sake of Ronak having his say on this show, Ronak, I believe you're supporting Iran, who are front runners in Group F.
Yeah, like
Ronak,
just like how you've gone for Algeria in Group H. I'm
That's right.
in Group F.
Anyway, moving on. We'll skip Belgium for the time being because we have a special segment dedicated purely for them. We'll move on now to the favourites, or rather, who do our pundits today support? Karan, we'll start with you. Your winner for this World Cup 2014.
I think it would be Argentina. The condition will suit them. I'm not going for a European team because they generally have their squabbles even when they're playing Champions League locally. They have to travel. They have their problems with weather. I don't see them coping with the weather in Brazil. I have a feeling Argentina, Messi might just finally build up to his big label. You also have Aguero, who's just been on some crazy form. So I have a feeling Argentina might be one of the teams to look
Ronak,
at.
tell me about your team for this World Cup.
Well, since you've said it's Iran, I'm not going to elaborate further. But no, I just don't see anyone powering Brazil. I just think that just set for them. Stage is set. Conditions are fine. They've got a squad that's good, that's been together for a while. A manager that's known to produce World Cup wins. This is too strong.
Vishal.
Brazil would have the pressure on them. They'd be favourites, but...
Okay, for the sake of argument and for the sake of discussion, let's not go with Brazil, Vishal.
Okay.
Let's go with your other team to win the World Cup.
I will go for Uruguay, merely because they're
Interesting,
the third South American team in there.
Okay.
I think they play well as a unit. They've got a good coach. They play a lot of counter-attacking football, which helps in cup tournaments. Like Atletico Madrid, playing when they play cup football, they do well. So they've got a good unit. They've got Suarez, Cavani, Forlan. Gaston Ramirez,
That's right.
and they've got an upcoming team that have won. They won at the Olympics. I think that was probably at the youth stage. But
That's right.
they're a good team, definitely. That I'd keep an eye out.
So pure South American domination is what our pundits are predicting for this World Cup coming in. Right, next up, we'll talk about the group of death. First up, we have a couple of them that are actually in close contention of being the group of death, don't we, Ronak?
Yeah, of course, the obvious one, Abhi, is G. Group G with Germany, Portugal, Ghana, and the USA. You'd think that the USA always spoil the party for at least one, if not two teams in a group. Ghana, we know what they're all about. Germany is strong. So that's one major group. Vishal's got you to the second one.
The interesting thing about Group G, though, is you don't have a single South American team in there.
Yeah.
That's
So you've got 4 teams that got to acclimatize to conditions of, that have a lot of heat and humidity in South America. Ghana could, adapt pretty well. But
I just say that it wasn't such a big deal when they played in Africa last time.
It wasn't so bad, exactly.
So,
That's an interesting point.
You'd
Yeah.
expect European team. We had 2 European teams in the final. We would have had England. But
That's
whatever.
right.
So yeah, I think it won't be as big a deal. It could be hotter than it is in Africa. Let's be fair. But yeah, no South American teams is an interesting group there.
Karan, and would you have a third group of death, or are you going to be in compliance with what we've just discussed?
Yeah, I think G is more as a group of that, but I won't write up B either. Simply because of Netherlands' recent form. Obviously, as you said, they have to put that behind them. They have Louis van Gaal now leading them front. But I still think Chile could really
Cause
do
an upset
something
at this
there.
World Cup.
How in God's name are we not talking about England's group as the group of death?
Yeah, please.
Are we presuming that they're just going to qualify?
Haven't we
Because
spoken
there's
about
no
that
right
already?
technology.
Which is an interesting combination, because when you look at England, Uruguay, and Italy,
Yeah.
any 2 of the 3 can actually qualify, and that's the way a lot of us see it.
Exactly. I said it already. I think
Why are we
it's a top
putting
group.
Costa Rica apart? I mean,
Because
do you not rate them
England,
at all?
England will beat them at least.
Yeah,
that would be an
not
interesting
gonna
contest. I'd enjoy that
Yeah,
game.
yeah, no, but
I would.
we've all picked 3 teams. I think you should.
I'd stay up for that
England
game.
too.
England, Costa Rica. It'll be an evenly matched game.
Talking about the dark horses coming into this World Cup in 2014 Brazil is Belgium. Why Belgium? Because 2 years back they were absolutely nowhere in terms of who their players were, and even the Euros, we didn't have them featured in the Euros. So Ronak, talk me through why Belgium this year actually such a strong contender.
Yeah, we've already gone through their squad and we've seen how the starting 11 is probably starting 11 that would make any of the top European clubs. But if you look at the paths to the final, Abhi, you look at groups E, F, G and H, because that's how we've divided it in this year's World Cup. Belgium can probably beat any of these teams in EFGH. Argentina, Germany will be their toughest competition, but I don't say that Argentina or Germany will walk over Belgium. So if you look at it in comparison, you've got Brazil, Spain, Netherlands, Italy, all are in that top half. Belgium don't have to play any of them to go to the final. So I think it's an easier path for a team that could very well make it.
While on the contrary, Vishal here doesn't seem to think much of Belgium moving into this World Cup. Why is that, Vishal? Do you see, for some reason, of France perhaps being a dark horse, so to speak, than Belgium this year?
I think France and Belgium both have a lot of great individual players, but when they play as a team, I don't think Belgium have really proven it on the international stage yet. France have. So it'll be interesting to see how they gel together in such a major scene. Again, in South America, not in Europe. Again, that's why they are dark horses. But I personally, if you ask me to go for a dark horse, I would go for someone from South America like Colombia. They finished 2 points behind Argentina in the qualifying. They've got some fantastic talent like James Rodriguez, Falcao. They've got
And the likes, yeah, very strong squad on
they
paper.
they do have a lot of good players.
Right, Karan, I know that you're actually fancying a European team to be one of the dark horses, which is not Belgium. And this team is a rather small country in terms of where they come from, but they have produced some of the finest sports persons, have they? I'm talking about Roger Federer and Switzerland. So tell me more about that.
I think this Switzerland squad is being written off too easily. They came in seeded as a group leaders. On paper, they came in seeded for this, and that's for a good reason. If you see the squad that's playing now, this is the squad that won the Under-17 World Cup back in 2007. They reached the final for the Euros in the Under-21 level in 2011. So, this is a squad that's, really found themselves. They're coming into the zone now. They recently beat Brazil 1-0. They've had some amazing draws. They've kept 9 clean sheets in the past 14 games. And as he mentioned, if you see the bottom half of the draw, there's not anyone that, you can see an upset happening there rather than against Spain or Brazil.
It's never too hot in an English summer now, is it, Ronak? When you talk about England going into the World Cup with Roy Hodgson and his men, we always like to support a team whose league we watch very regularly and whose players we arguably know best about.
Yep.
But tell me, Ronak, this English side moving into a World Cup where they could potentially face a Brazil or a France or even a Belgium, and I talk about Belgium all the time because they're favourites, but tell me, Ronak, how strong is this English side for this World Cup?
Well, you know, we've always compared England to be the India of football, except that now India have started achieving actually. So now we can't even have that left. What we've got with England, even before they go to Belgium or France, Abhi, is that they've got Spain and Brazil even before the final. That just makes the road even harder. Not to mention they've got Uruguay and Italy in the group itself. I'm not so sure now that they can actually be considered dark horses. They're a good team to bet on because they always entertain. There's goal line technology, so they might go on. But I don't think they'll make it easy to the final now.
Moving on to our final segment for this show, we'll talk about the players to look out for in this upcoming World Cup. I'll start with you, Karan. I believe you have a player from Europe? No.
Yeah, I do. I'm looking at Eden Hazard to do well.
Eden Hazard. Eden Hazard, he's been Chelsea's arguably the best player for Chelsea over the last 2 years. And
Hazard, coming from Jose Mourinho himself, he's the best young player out there right now. And it'll be very interesting to see how he, links up with his forwards, how he teams up against the best teams in the world. The teams he faces in the earlier parts aren't that difficult. So it'll be really interesting because he's a boy out there with a point to prove.
Is this in a way perhaps his best chance to tell the world that he's arrived and he's really looking forward towards European domination after this, talking about Chelsea in his career?
Definitely. I mean, if you're talking about recently, where they fooled around with the Ballon d'Or given to him by his Chelsea teammates.
That's right.
This is one platform that he really needs to prove himself on. We talk over the years, Messi not doing much for the national team up until now. I think Hazard has to, start the ball running from here itself.
Who's your pick, Ronak, when you talk about the best player?
I do acknowledge that Jose Mourinho is a temple of credibility when it comes to calling people. But having said that, I still think there are better players than Hazard on the pitch. But if I have to go for a pick, I'm going to go for someone who's not going to be as flary, but as instrumental in a favourite team's chances. I'm going for Ramirez. I think he's going to do the dirty work in the team of Brazil. If Willian doesn't play, that role goes to Ramirez. They've got flair players. They'll need someone to keep that in check. We've seen what he's done for Chelsea. I think he'll keep it going.
Our Chelsea fans right now watching the show must be over the moon because two of the three players that we've already announced play for Chelsea when you talk about Ramirez and Eden Hazard. And from what I believe, Ronak was also confused whether to pick Ramirez or Willian, who is also a Chelsea player. So Chelsea fans, watch out. This could be your time of the year.
They might as well win something.
Yeah. Well, Vishal, let's talk about you now. Who's your pick for this World Cup?
I'm going to go for a player that Chelsea wanted but never got, Neymar for Brazil. Again, I'm a betting man, and it's a very cliched choice. But I think with all, he'll be the focal point of that team, of the country, and with the way he's done in the Confederations Cup and the team built around him being the main attacking person, I think that there'll be a lot of focus on him, and I think he'll do well.
Vishal was very tempted to actually nominate Gareth Bale when he first told me Neymar, but then we all know he's not going to be playing the World Cup anymore. Right,
I was going to go for Coutinho actually. He still won't make it, which is really astounding.
Well, yes, Felipe Coutinho, of course. He's had a great season for Liverpool this year. Right, gentlemen, with that, we'll come to an end of this segment. Thank you so much for being on this show. You can follow each one of my show's pundits on Twitter. You can see the handles down right there. Rana Kapoor tweets a lot about cricket, so don't be confused. He's a gem of a footballing genius.
Abhishek Iyer is a liar.
Right, so with this, we'll conclude our segment on the World Cup. Thank you so much for watching. Until next time, goodbye for now.